During his 4 years as president, Donald Trump was able to nominate an impressive 3 justices to the Supreme Court, leaving the court with a 6-3 conservative majority. In this video though, we'll be taking a look at the upcoming retirement of Justice Stephen Breyer, and the frontrunners to replace him, in what looks likely to be President Biden's only Supreme Court nomination. If you like explainers like this, which dive into the details and drama of US politics and news, then be sure to subscribe. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram for even shorter explainers, so you can stay informed while you scroll. We really appreciate your support. So, US Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer is retiring at the end of the 2021-2022 Judicial Supreme Court session. Breyer, who's 83, was nominated by President Clinton in 1994 and has served a total of about 27 years in his position. As such, he's the oldest member of the court by a decent margin, edging out the second oldest, Clarence Thomas, by nearly 10 years. Democrats and progressives have been urging Justice Breyer to retire for some time now, fearing that this was their only opportunity to get a liberal justice on the court. That's because currently the Democrats are projected to do poorly in the 2022 midterms, and as such, the Republicans have a good chance of flipping the Senate, the body that actually approves Supreme Court justices. That means that if the retirement came next year, with a Republican-controlled Senate, Democrats feared that any replacement would meet the same fate as Merrick Garland, a justice who was appointed by Obama to fill Justice Scalia's seat after his death in 2016. Garland was stonewalled by a Republican Senate who wanted the winner of that year's presidential election to pick the next judge, which ultimately worked out well for them. Nonetheless, Democrats intend to move quickly and already have numerous contenders lined up for the judgeship. Biden stipulated on the campaign trail that he wanted a black woman for the post, so for now, we'll operate under that assumption. Regardless of who it is though, any black woman nominated and confirmed would be the first ever to serve on the court. The leading contender to fill the position though is Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, a DC Federal Court of Appeals judge who was appointed last year. Justice Jackson, a 51-year-old who's previously clerked for Justice Breyer, is gaining traction in part for her federal court experience. The DC Appeals Court is one of the most powerful courts in the country, so the move up to Supreme Court isn't all that much of a jump. Her appointment to her current position was confirmed by the Senate in June 2021, when all 50 Democratic members, as well as Republicans Lindsey Graham, Susan Collins, and Lisa Murkowski, voted to confirm her in a 53-44 vote, which suggests that she could be a good bipartisan nomination, something that Biden is apparently keen on. The second major option, though, is Justice J. Michelle Childs, a judge on South Carolina's federal court. Notably, she's a favorite of the highly influential South Carolina Democrat Jim Clyburn, and was nominated by Biden to be on the federal DC Court of Appeals, but her nomination is still pending. A graduate of the University of South Carolina School of Law, proponents state that her public law education would differentiate herself from traditional Supreme Court justice picks. That's because most Supreme Court justices, save for Justice Barrett, hold Ivy League law degrees from Harvard and Yale. And for this reason, the nomination of Childs could potentially help the Democratic Party seem less elitist. There's also a sense that Clyburn is calling in a favor from Biden here. Biden's win in the South Carolina Democratic primary in February 2020, where Clyburn's endorsement helped Biden edge out Bernie Sanders, went some way to resurrect his campaign for the Democratic nomination. Biden, known for his backslapping ways, might award Clyburn for his efforts by appointing a justice from his backyard. The third choice, though, is California Supreme Court Justice Leondra Kruger. Despite being just 45, which is relatively young to be nominated to the court, the Yale law graduate has a lot of experience under her belt. She interned for Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens and was acting Principal Deputy Solicitor General of the United States for a year under President Obama. She's also often been characterized as a swing vote for the California Supreme Court, stating that the law should be predictable and stable so that the judicial process maintains its public confidence. It's also worth noting that Justice Breyer's seat is often described as the Jewish seat of the court. The seat for nearly 90 years has been represented by a member of the Jewish community, with the only interruption being from 1970 to 1994 under Methodist Harry Blackman. Whether or not this tradition carries on, the court would still have a Jewish member in Aleida Kagan. But if Biden picks Kruger, who is Jewish herself, it would carry on the long-standing tradition for this seat. Other potential nominees, though, include 2nd Circuit Judge Eunice Lee, 7th Circuit Judge Candice Jackson-Akawumi, Minnesota Federal District Judge Wilhelmina Wright, and Sherilyn Ilfil, currently the Director Counsel of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. However, there's one more wildcard nomination, which, while not expected to happen, potentially could, and that's current Vice President Kamala Harris. After all, there is a precedent for high-profile executive appointments. Former 27th US President William Howard Taft was appointed by his Republican presidential successor to the Chief Justice position of the Supreme Court, which apparently he actually considered being a higher honour than being president. And to be fair, Harris does have a fair bit of legal experience. She was a member of the Judiciary Committee during her Senate tenure, Attorney General of California from 2011 to 2017, and served for 7 years as the San Francisco District Attorney. And due to the fact that she has the lowest favourability rating of any vice president in the modern era at this point in her tenure, some political commentators have suggested that it might be in Biden's political interests to dump Harris in a lifetime position, such as Supreme Court Justice, and then pick a new VP. Like potentially the White House Director of the US Domestic Policy Council, Susan Rice, or even Transportation Secretary and former 2020 Democratic nomination opponent Pete Buttigieg. It's worth noting though that while this might initially look like a good idea, it would add another confirmation battle to Biden's agenda, as any new VP would have to be confirmed by both the House and the Senate in accordance with the 25th Amendment. And despite that being entirely possible, the current political climate would likely be less supportive of a polarizing appointment. Regardless, despite making headlines for weeks and months to come, the current composition of the court isn't about to change. Stephen Breyer was considered to be on the liberal wing of the 6-3 Conservative court, and Biden's replacement won't change this lineup. And as this may be Biden's only shot at getting any justices through the Senate, he'll likely want a nominee that can please everyone, from moderate Democrats like Manchin and Sinema to progressives like Sanders and Warren. But what do you think? Will any of our judicial picks actually end up being nominated? Will Biden wait until just before the midterms to nominate someone new? Or is Supreme Court Justice Kamala Harris an incoming reality? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Remember, you can join the conversation over on Twitter and Instagram, where we post even more often than we do on YouTube. Check out our pages for regular updates and clear explainer graphics so that you can stay informed while you scroll. As always, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be notified every time we release a new video. Special thanks to our Patreon backers who make videos like this one possible. And if you want to see your name at the end of videos, just like these people, then be sure to back us on Patreon. The link to that is in the description.